What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to a special Road to E3 series that we have here on PlayerEssence throughout the month and also a little bit into next month. We will be taking a look at a number of different games that could appear at E3, going over some of the best rumors. We're going to have live streams on the channel and so much more. So make sure you hit that notification and also subscribe if you're someone new and drop a like if you like the Road to E3 series. Now let's talk about Bayonetta 3. Yes, this game has been a long time coming and I know a lot of you guys are desperately looking for information on this game. When is it going to come out? Will it be shown at E3? What's going on with the game? Is Hideki Kamiya crazy? Has he blocked me? I mean, there's so many different things that we can discuss, but for the sake of time in this video, let's talk about if this game is going to be at E3 first, what we could see in it, and some other things surrounding the game and some of the history leading up to this point. So E3 2021, Nintendo is poised to have a huge show this year. I mean, it looks like they're going to have a huge show. They were one of the first people to say, hey, we're in for this revised online E3 and we're looking forward to having a great show. So I'm confident that Nintendo is going to have a good show there with a lot of games. Now, when it comes to Bayonetta, this is a franchise that honestly has never sold more than 3 million units total for any individual game. The only game, because there's not that many of them, would be maybe the original, which did, I think, about 1 million or so on the PlayStation and barely 1 million on the Xbox. So none of it has really even gotten close. And a lot of those sales were when it was discounted, considering the PlayStation 3 version of the game was absolutely horrible. Now, the Bayonetta 2 game, that was only on the Wii U. And of course, the Wii U is Nintendo's worst selling home console of all time, or at least main home console of all time. So there wasn't really much wiggle room there to have something incredible when it comes to sales, because Bayonetta is not a franchise that's going to sell like Mario or Zelda or something like that. However, I do think it comes to an end here at E3 2021, where Nintendo will reveal Bayonetta 3, and this will be the best-selling game in the Bayonetta series. And I personally think for this series to really continue going forward, it's going to have to hit 2 to 3 million very quickly for there to be some type of, I would say, demand for this. If this game comes out and doesn't do well, Bayonetta could be in trouble going forward in the future. But I'm expecting there to be a big show at E3. And the reason why I'm targeting E3 with this, because it's been a while, right? We've talked about the Game Awards over the years. I mean, it was 2017 when this game was announced. So it's been a while. But the reason why I think it's going to be E3 is because E3 is really for that dedicated core gamer and even some of the expanded base. A lot of people that play video games, sometimes we get caught up in our little bubble here on PlayerEssence and on other core dedicated gaming channels where everybody thinks that they look at gaming news every single day, and that's just not the case. There are some people that only pay attention to what's going on at E3 or Nintendo Directs or special situations. So I think that for a game like Bayonetta, I think that E3 is the perfect time to kind of reveal it. The perfect time to show people what this game is about, because not only are you going to get the hardcore Nintendo fans that maybe have no idea what Bayonetta is or haven't played the game, because you have to remember this franchise dates all the way back to 2009 in Japan and very early 2010 here in the West. So there were a lot of kids that probably couldn't buy the game, or their parents wouldn't let them play it, or they just weren't interested in that because they were toddlers or they're little babies. But now they're actually older to where they can check out the game, buy it for themselves. So this is a huge sales opportunity for Nintendo to show that new huge base of the Nintendo Switch that, hey, we can do some mature games too. We can have something incredible, and this is going to be a game that you want to check out. So I do think that E3 is the right time for the game, and I think that Nintendo was kind of saving it for that, because there needs to be a knockout punch here, guys. This can't be just a, okay, Bayonetta 3 looks okay, or it looks like slightly better than Astral Chain, or whatever the case is. It needs to be like a real knockout punch with the fans, because Bayonetta is on a little bit of thin ice, right? The franchise has not been the most popular out there, so it is a little bit on thin ice here. But I do think that's the reason why it's taken so long. They want to have the perfect first impression, the Astral Chain type of first impression. When people look at that game, and for the people that know what they're looking for in a game, they say, okay, automatically I'm going to buy it, right? The fact that Astral Chain was able to sell 1 million, it should have sold a lot more than that, but the fact that it was able to sell 1 million so quickly on the Switch as a brand new IP and more of a niche genre when you're looking at the stylish action type of games and everything, anime style, is actually pretty incredible. So it's good to see that. I think that Bayonetta 3 definitely could triple that up, get that to about 3 million plus or so, because it's an established franchise. You're going to have those fans that legitimately go out there and buy a Nintendo Switch just for Bayonetta. That's how hardcore some of these Bayonetta people are. I mean, I did know multiple people that went out there and bought a Wii U just to play Bayonetta 2, although it was a little bit of a disaster when they first announced it for the system, but that's history when it comes to it. They saved the franchise. So I do think in order for us to kind of repay that here, we've got to see some amazing sales, but it has to be a knockout punch. I think that E3 Nintendo is going to deliver a great show along with Platinum Games showing off this. Hopefully Hideki Kamiya gets up and says, hey, this is what this game is about. It's almost like a direct style presentation that they give, because they've done this before. They had a Bayonetta 2 Nintendo Direct that was absolutely phenomenal, and I think that sold so many people with the limited install base of the Nintendo Wii U. It sold so many people on Bayonetta. So I do think, like, hey, this is the time to say Bayonetta 3 is coming, and it's coming either this year or it's coming next year, but we need some footage. It's been so many years. We need some footage. So I'm expecting that to be shown off in full force when it comes down to it. Now, let's talk about some other things surrounding E3 and also with Bayonetta when it comes to the game. What could they be doing with this? What's that knockout punch that I've been alluding to? Well, I would think that completely revised type of graphics. Like, this can't be a Bayonetta 2.5. I think that they actually need to kind of go in and make sure that the game is drastically better looking than what they've done before. And I'm not trying to sound shallow with this, guys. Like, it's not all about graphics. Gameplay is supreme, especially for an action game like this, which we'll get to in just a bit. But I do think the look of the game is going to be very important, because we already got Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2 on the Nintendo Switch, and for ports of a Wii U versions of those games, it actually did really well on the platform. Now, we haven't had updated sales since then, but it's definitely tracking. At the time, was well over what Bayonetta 1 and 2 did on the Wii U very easily after a few months on the market. So I'm guessing that's way up past the 500,000 mark. So I do think people want to see that next step. They don't want to see it as, oh, okay, this is just the Wii U engine, it's just the Wii U game, and they're just making another one out of it. It needs to have an impressive look to it, in addition to keeping that super high frame rate that we are used to, which I think is going to be the challenge for Platinum Games. Now, does a Nintendo Switch Pro get into the mix of this? Will it be something that kind of falls in line with there? Well, I don't think so. Maybe not at E3. It might be a little bit too early for that, but maybe it takes advantage of it maybe next year or whenever the system does come out later in the year. But I think even on the base Nintendo Switch, heck, even on the Switch Lite, this needs to look and perform very well to capture people's eyes and their imaginations. It's the first thing that a lot of the expanded audience or even some of the core audience sees is the graphics. So in order to get more people into this, it has to be a beautiful looking game. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2 actually look really good, whether you're playing it on the Xbox 360, well, not the PS3 version, or you're playing it on the Wii U, or you're playing it on PC. I mean, it's a beautiful looking game. The art is very good. They did a lot with not as much, right? I mean, they really kind of maximize the look of that game, but I do think that they need to take the next step here. Like, when I first saw Astral Chain, I was like, okay, wow, this is significantly better than the graphics in Bayonetta 2. The monsters were more detailed, the environments were better. There were so many more things that really just captured people's eyes, which propelled that new IP to be able to sell what it did in a niche or more lower end genre where people don't play as much as some of the other stuff out there. So for Bayonetta 3, an established game, you just can't have the same type of thing. You have to kind of go above that, and the gameplay has to tie into that. If it's just the same, okay, we've done this before, dodge offsetting, same type of buttons, press the punch, then kick 3 times, get the Bayonetta heel kicks multiple times to a wicked weave, stuff like that. Okay, you have the Y, that's going to be a launcher, you know, stuff like that. Like, it can't just be the typical Bayonetta gameplay. There needs to be some innovations, and I'm very confident that there will be, because Platinum Games and Hideki Kamiya and that team, like, everybody there, they're they're so innovative and they always do something new. Their action games always have something crazy in there, from Nier Automata to Astral Chain to Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2. They are some of the best in terms of taking what you think you would expect in an action game and kind of saying, oh, let's add in this or let's add in that. And it completely changes the dynamic of what you thought could be in an action game and how you experience that in order to exploit your foes or have defensive abilities or offensive to defensive. It's pretty cool what they've done. Platinum Games with Astral Chain, that was one of the most incredible things that I've seen, being able to control kind of two different people at the same time, kind of has a little bit of AI mixed into there, and the synergy between your Legion and yourself and doing combo attacks was incredible. I've never played anything like it. So I'm expecting something in the lines of some type of crazy or big innovation. That's something that they want to save for a big date to really show this franchise off, to make sure that it's the perfect reveal for the franchise, because like I said, this might be on thin ice here, guys. If this game doesn't do as well, then I'm not sure if we see Bayonetta 4 at least from Nintendo on their side. Maybe somebody else picks it up and helps them with Sega to get it going, but it might be gone for a while. So let's make sure that this franchise does well. I think that's the first thing that we actually need to do, is see it, and I feel that E3 2021 will be it. So we can kind of recap a little bit here, guys. We're going to have, in my opinion, a great presentation, new trailer showing off actual CG footage and also gameplay, the first plot, something along the lines of that in terms of what you can expect with the game, and playable characters. Maybe there's more than just Bayonetta. Maybe you play as somebody else, which kind of was alluded to in that first teaser trailer. And we should also get a release window, release date. Hey, it's launching, second half of 2021 or first half of 2022. Something should come out of that as well. So I do think we can expect those type of things at E3. I feel that they want the perfect reveal for this game, the perfect launch, and to set it up to be a successful multi-million selling franchise like it should be. And it hasn't really gotten that respect from the gamers, despite delivering some of the best action games ever made, with Bayonetta 2 being my favorite action game ever of all time. So let's see what happens at E3, guys. What do you guys think about Bayonetta 3? What do you think about the road to E3 when it comes to what games do you want me to cover next? Make sure you drop a comment below, leave a like, and we'll see you guys for the next one. All right, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.